Hey you guys, welcome home if you're back to the channel, and if you're new here, come on in mama, have a seat. This is Navigating the Nelsons. My name is LaBrea Nelson, and I make homestead, twin mom, and baking content for moms who miss feeling inspired and want to feel more at peace about the stay-at-home mom life. If that's you, please stick around. So today we are going to be making treats for Father's Day. Not only am I going to be making treats for my father, I'm also going to be making some for my father-in-law and also for my husband, who is the father of my kids. So this is just going to be a Father's Day feel kind of day. It's Saturday, so I wouldn't be me if I didn't wait till the last minute to do everything. But we're going to try to get everything done, even everything iced and put together tonight, because tomorrow we're going to church. We may have time to run home and get a couple things finished, but I doubt it. So I'm going to try to get as many things done as I can. So today what we're going to be making are some vegan chocolate chip cookies and some vegan Rice Krispie treats for my dad, who is vegan, obviously, because I've said vegan 15 times. I'm going to be making a German chocolate cake for my father-in-law because that's his favorite cake. And I'm going to be making some cookies and cream cookies for our house, so for my husband. I've made them before. I made them for a family friend, but I did not get to taste any. I just gave them to her. She was getting ready to have a baby, and I was like, let me go ahead and make her some things. And so we made that, but I didn't get to taste any. So I'm gonna make some of those. And I'm gonna bake the vegan cookies as well as the cookie cream cookies. I'm gonna bake them so that we can try them together. I'm also gonna make some regular Rice Krispie treats, I think, for my kids, for us to make tonight as a family. I think they'll enjoy kind of spinning things and moving things around. So that'll be cute too. So we got a lot to get done today. If this is something that you're interested in, I would love for you guys to stick around for this video. The first thing we're gonna do is the German chocolate cake, and that's just to give me time for the cake to cook all the way and for it to cool so we can ice it. And during that time when it's doing all that, we can go ahead and get the other stuff done, because my goal isn't for this to take all day. So let's get into that. I've said a mouthful, I've done a mouthful, so let's just try to get that. I'm gonna take my tea with my favorite little cup, and we're gonna knock some things out. So I've already got my boiling hot water going over there. So what I'm gonna do is line my cake pans, and I'm going to probably butter them, get a little butter, put some parchment paper on them. We're gonna start with that. All right, y'all. I didn't get to record any of that because my dad called asking about vegan cookies as I'm sitting here preparing to make them vegan cookies, but I'm gonna go ahead. I got these all put in, taken care of, so I'm gonna put those to the side. I preheated my oven to 375, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and make my buttermilk. I'm not gonna have buttermilk because I don't generally use it. So what I do is I just take some regular milk and some distilled white vinegar, about a tablespoon of vinegar, and let that sit for a little while. So we'll start with that. And I don't get my tablespoon out for that. I just do about 3 capfuls. I guesstimate that that's about a tablespoon. I wish I could see my crazy setup over here because it's wild. So I'm gonna let that sit while I get my dry ingredients together. So to my measuring bowl, I'm gonna add 1 3/4 cup of flour. Y'all, I'm so loud and my kids are sleeping. And I'm normally not this clumsy, but for some reason today, I'm just utterly clumsy. So bear with me. We're gonna add 1 3/4, and the way I do my flour to make sure I'm not putting too much flour is I take it and I kind of move it all around. I'm generally not a cup measure kind of girl. I like to use grams, but this recipe doesn't have grams, so I'm not gonna stress about it. And we're gonna take 3 of those. That's our flour. We're gonna take 2 cups of sugar. Have you guys ever tried to make powdered sugar with your own sugar before? Because I've tried a couple times and I can just never get it fine enough. And I'm wondering if I maybe need like I don't know, something that's specific for that type of process, because my Ninja is not doing it. Then we're gonna add 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened cacao powder. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now we're gonna add 1½ teaspoons of both baking soda and baking powder. 1, 2, 3. I'm baking 1, 2, 3 of baking powder. And then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of salt. Now for this video purpose, I pulled out all the ingredients, but I normally don't do that. I normally just wing it. And this seems like a better use of my time to just pull them all out ahead of time so that I'll know that I have everything and it's within reach. Now I did have to go reach really high to get this cocoa powder, but nonetheless. So we're just gonna start by stirring all of this together. I put way more than a cup of water in this boiling hot to get the boiling hot water, because I knew it was gonna be a minute before I used it, and I know something's gonna end up steaming off of it. So if I had a sifter, I would sift all this together, but the one I have is really janky and I don't like it, and the recipe doesn't call for it. So it's not super important that it be fine. I'm probably gonna use a whisk to add the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients, so that'll kind of break up some of the cocoa powder clumps, because that's what most of that is. All right, so we are done with our dry ingredients. So I don't know if you guys can see, but you're starting to get some of those clumps in there with the milk. So that means the vinegar is curdling the milk. I'm not gonna stress about that. 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. And then I'm gonna add 2 eggs, and I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons, really just 2 big spoons. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty? Something about it is just so pretty. So we're gonna give this a whisk very gently, because I don't want to make a mess. I just feel like it would just be easier to just mix everything up in here instead of using a whole new bowl that I'll inevitably have to clean. I can just mix it all together. And like I said, I'm gonna use the whisk because it says to mix to combine. I was just talking to my mom the other day about, I think people think that cooking is just in baking. I'm not really the best cook. I can be transparent about that. I'm not the best cook. Really, more baking is more my thing, but I'm an okay cook. But cooking and baking are not just about reading things and reading ingredients. You have to like do it enough and practice it enough that you can tell things are off, or maybe you know something needs more of this or more of that. All right, and now we're going to stir in our very hot water, boiling hot water. And just loosening it up. Not on them. Why? Whatever you see, I could. Whatever's in. Hey, chitterlings.
Ready?
Mommy's making some cake.
Okay. Alright, let's go up front.
Mommy?
Mommy's gonna stay here, okay?
Mommy? Yeah. Mommy.
All right, y'all. So the cakes are in the oven. Y'all know how I said that I'm not normally a person who like sits down and like is systematic. Now I realize I don't have any of the things that I need. That's not true. I didn't soften the butter, and that needs to happen for me to make the cookies and cream cookies. And I don't have enough marshmallows to make both the recipe I need to make for my dad and the recipe that I want to make for the boys tonight. And the cream cheese also needed to be softened, and that's not softened either. So I'm kind of going back and forth because I have, what is that thing called? I have a butter Bluebonnet. Y'all, when I was growing up, I really thought Bluebonnet was butter, but it's really not butter. It's, I guess it would be hydrogenated vegetable oil in a stick. I really thought it was butter. So when Jason went to the store the other day, he grabbed this, and so I was happy about that because I can use that for the vegan things I need to do, but it's unfortunate for any other thing I need to do. I'm gonna double my dad's recipe for those cookies, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and knock that out, and then I'm gonna go to the store and get the stuff for the other things later. That way I at least have that in the refrigerator chilling. Yeah, that makes sense. And the boys are about to go get in the pool too, so they're about to get in the pool, so it'll all work out. Okay, so let's go ahead and knock out the vegan cookies, get those in the refrigerator chilling, and then we will wait until the cake is done. Yeah, we gotta wait till the cake is done. So I guess we're gonna do something. Something's gonna come next on the screen, and I don't know what it's gonna be, but give me a minute because I can't think on camera for some reason. But we're gonna get there. So I'm headed out to get some things from the store. These are on my list of things to make too. Mark my word. All right, y'all. I'm headed to the store to get something really quick. I want to take the time to just check in with y'all. Like I said, I'm going to get those marshmallows and stuff from the store. just do a quick check-in. You guys know I am a therapist, or if you don't know, I am a therapist. I am a social worker, and I've been a social worker for about 7 years now. And I've been working in the mental health field for a long time, for the majority, if not all of my social work career. And sometimes I think about how hard it is to give yourself the advice that you give other people. So I'll just kind of tell y'all what I'm thinking about and why I'm telling it to you. One, you guys know that we are on, if you don't know, we're on one income. So we've been on one income since before the boys were born. Once I found out I was pregnant, I had already quit my job, and it was to pursue something else. But then I ended up getting pregnant, and it was like, okay, well, now I'm a stay-at-home mom. And being on one income fosters a lot of creativity, and you have to be really creative and figure out how you're going to create the same sense of normalcy that was a lot easier to create before. And one of those scenarios that's required is like for holidays and stuff like that. So of course, if I was making more money, it would be easy to just like buy people gifts, right? I could just give them gifts, and I could be like, okay, well, what's something you really wanted? Or I'll just buy that for you. But when you're trying to manage this thing that used to kind of be the standard, but is now not the standard because we live in a capitalist society, it's not the same. Like you don't get to operate in those luxuries, and that's what they truly are, like a luxury, right? And so I've always wrestled with this thing of like, I feel bad that I don't have the disposable income to be able to just buy people gifts, like how everybody else could buy you gifts, or you could just give people money, and I don't have that luxury. But I take joy in the fact that I have this skill and gift and passion to bake, and that not only do I have it, I have the desire to use it. And so I always try to find some solace in that. Like, yeah, I can't buy people gifts and I can't give them money the way that I would love to, but I can make them sweet treats that they'll love, and still not put my family in a bind, trying to please other people. And especially around like holidays like Father's Day and Mother's Day, I don't have those type of parents where they feel some type of way because you don't buy them gifts. Like, they love being acknowledged in ways that are special, not necessarily that are monetary. And so I say that to say, if you're in that same situation and you may be on one income, or maybe something's happened, or maybe you're prioritizing something else financially, don't be afraid to use your skills and gifts to be able to show love in a way that only you can, that is special and significant to just you. The other thing I think about is when you don't have that freedom financially to explore everything that you're interested in and do all these things and go all these places, take vacations, different things like that. It can be easy to put your self-care on the back burner because you are prioritizing the needs of your family. You're like, I don't want to spend money going to get a cup of coffee, or spend money going on vacation, or go do all these things, because even though it'll feel good in that moment, I won't be able to, I'm just going to be avoiding the inevitable, which is I'm going to have to come back to my same scenario. And it's something that I wrestle with all the time. But I would encourage you to kind of reach within yourself and search within yourself to be able to find things that ignite you, that don't put a hamper on your family. And also, don't allow yourself to have those thoughts if they're not true. Like, if you could spend $5 on a coffee and it won't break your family, even though that $5 could go somewhere else, maybe paying off a credit card, an extra $5 on a credit card, how much more value will it have feeding into your self-care, as long as you do it within balance, right? And that's one thing that I want as this channel grows, because I know that it will. I know that God is going to bless it. I want this channel to be about balance. I'm not telling you to do one thing or another thing, or that you have to do this or you have to do that. Life is about balance, and everybody's balance looks different. You have to find the balance that works for you and your family. And once you do, you can flourish in that. So I say to you, you guys really helped me today. Today was a hard day for me. I don't know why. I do know why. I woke up late and my boys were on their level of 10, which is not a real 10, by the way. You know, they were just being boys and having fun and laughing and joking and being toddlers. And then somebody fell and hurt themselves. And so I immediately had to go into mom mode. And Jason went to a conference today. I'm really glad that he got to go to. And so I was along with the boys again, which Saturdays are normally my sleep in days. And the last couple Saturdays, I haven't been able to sleep in. Long story short, it just wasn't a good day. And I knew I had to record today, that there wasn't an option to not record, because I was going to be missing out on an opportunity to share this with you all, because tomorrow is Father's Day. And if I don't do it, I'm not going to be able to come back and do it later. But once I actually started recording, I just felt so good. Like, I felt joyful and like happy. I'm sorry y'all about the lights, but I felt joyful and happy and like excited. I can remember being a kid and like always pretending like I was on a cooking show, like all the time. I would just always pretend I was on a cooking show. And mom was like, who are you talking to in the kitchen? I'm like, oh, nobody. So you're gonna put this in here and this here. And it's like, when I talk to the camera and I talk to my phone, I feel that same way. I feel like I'm on a cooking show and I'm like operating in my gift. And I just thank y'all for being present. No matter who's watching, you know, I just thank you for being present, because in your presence and your showing up and me being able to have this platform, today just turned out to be an amazing day. So I'm gonna run in the store and I'm going to go get this stuff, and then we'll be back to cooking. All right, so we are now working on the coconut frosting for the German chocolate cake. Now, as will be a common trend throughout this cooking day, I made a big mistake. So I'm dumping in all of the ingredients like they're telling me to put it on the stove, put it all in this pot, mixing everything together. And I'm thinking everything's going great until I make a tragic mistake. So what is that tragic mistake? It starts right here, if you're curious. So I put these egg yolks in here the way that they asked me to. And then I got distracted. I had to go take the boys outside to go swimming. And as you can see, it's just boiling away there on the stove. So when I come back, I'm wondering why this butter is not melting. I'm like, so I've been gone for a little while now. This butter should be melting. Oh, it's not an issue about if it's melting or not. No. I have now cooked the yolk inside of this mixture. I'm sure you guys can see that egg yolk and see me kind of poking around at it, because it is indeed cooked. So I'm making sure, I'm like, well, maybe I'm tripping. No, you're not tripping. You weren't paying attention and you left something on the stove, and now you have cooked eggs. So I took the time to pick everyone out. I had to switch utensils because the pieces were so small, and I wanted to make sure I got as much out as I possibly could. But I wasn't about to scrap all of this because it needed evaporated milk and I didn't have any more. So I just decided to add the eggs back in and to temper them this time. If you don't know what tempering is when you add a little bit of your warm mixture to your eggs so that the temperature can slowly rise. That way you're not just dumping eggs into the mixture like I did and then it cooks the eggs. So you slowly add the warm liquid to your eggs, and then once it's tempered, then you can add it to the entire mixture because it'll be more equally at the same temperature as the eggs or the mixture. So I add that back to it, and we go from there. So I'm hoping that I saved it, which I think I did. My father-in-law tasted it. He loved it. So he didn't say he found any eggs in it. I had a piece. I didn't find any eggs in it. So I'm assuming that we made it. So now I'm adding the other ingredients, the vanilla, the coconut, and the pecans. The pecans that are in here, you guys, I bought those pecans for Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving, and I'm just now kind of finishing them up. So thankfully, we were able to use all those. They didn't go bad, and it ended up being the perfect amount for this recipe. And I mixed that all together. As you guys can see, I'm still a bit traumatized from my previous experience. I'm like peeking around, like trying to see if there's eggs in there. But I think we made it. So I'm going to cover it with some plastic wrap. That way it's protected and nothing can get into it. But I'm going to vent it because it is still a little bit warm and I don't want any condensation or anything like that. All right, you guys. So I'm sure you saw me already make the coconut frosting part that goes on the cake. I started this at about 2. And it is currently 8:22. So, like I said, I said I wasn't gonna spend all day on this, but I have spent all day on this. I went to the store, got distracted because I had to go to more than one store. Then I came back. I had to make dinner. I made some hamburger buns. So, if you guys want to see them, aren't they so cute? I'll link the recipe to this down below if you guys want to see me make these. Comment down below and I'll make some. But I made those and I made some burgers. So I got a little distracted, but I think I have everything now. So I only have 3 things left to make. Well, technically 4 things. I have to make the frosting for the chocolate for the cake. I have to make the cookies, both the vegan and the cookies and cream, which are going to be easy. I'm just going to whip them together. I'm probably not going to taste the vegan cookies, or you know what? I'll just leave 2 behind for me and Jason to taste, and I will test them tomorrow. But I'll go ahead and just pack up my dad's and put the cookies and cream in the refrigerator because they have to chill for at least two hours. And that means I'm going to have to stay up to 10:30 to do that. And I just don't want to do that. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and cook those tomorrow. And I'll save the vegans behind. And you guys will see it in this video. And with the cookies together and then make the Rice Krispie treats, which will just be really easy. It's really simple to do. So I decided against doing the regular Rice Krispies because it's so late and the boys are eating now, and so they're gonna be ready to go to bed in a minute. So maybe we'll do that in another video, but we will make the vegan ones and you guys will be able to see that. I think that's it. So let's go ahead and wrap this cooking day up. My feet hurts. I need to get one of those pads that go on the floor that you can stand on because my feet are killing me. I'm using my ring light, so let me know how the lighting looks in comparison to the original lighting because I know it's different, but it is kind of dark in here. And then the light that's normally on is kind of harsh. So I'm trying to ring light out. Hopefully it looks really good when I go back and edit. But yeah. All right, so now we make mistake number 2, which is that I thought that this was supposed to be made on the stove because I didn't read the instructions, of course. And This is a frosting. Now, I don't know if you've ever made a frosting on the stove. Maybe there's a way to do it and I don't know it, but that is not what this recipe called for. So I got distracted because it tells you to melt the butter first, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in a later clip. Now we're gonna jump into making the vegan chocolate chip cookies. Just a, I guess, spoiler or heads up. If I were you, I would make a big batch of these at one time. So I did double this recipe, and as you can see just from the ingredients, like it wasn't a lot of ingredients even to make a double recipe. And one thing that Becky from Acre Homestead and Jay Morrell both say is like, you're not doing any extra work by making multiples of something because you've already pulled out all the ingredients. You're already going to be going through the motions to do the thing. So you may as well make multiple, especially for something like this that's going to be a gift for someone. I would encourage you to maybe even quadruple this just because there's just so little ingredients that go into making this. So I'm adding my brown sugar, adding all my dry ingredients together, and I enjoyed them. I won't say that they're like my favorite cookie that I've ever made, but for them to be a vegan cookie, I feel like they were pretty good. My dad enjoyed them, and so that's also all that matters. I'm also adding almond milk. I'm pretty sure you can add any non-dairy milk that you so choose. And I had to add a little bit more than the recipe called for because they were just kind of dry. And that may be why I didn't like them, because I deviated from the recipe. I don't want to say I didn't like them. They were just kind of, the dough was a little hard to manage. But I mean, for a vegan cookie, they're not my favorite, but for a vegan cookie, I think it was pretty good. And I do end up adding dark chocolate to this. So I don't think I got that on camera, but I do end up adding dark chocolate chunks to this, and they were pretty good as well. I did not realize that I mixed this dough for so long. All right, so here is the frosting that's supposed to be. And so you start off by adding a variation of the milk and, well, I guess back and forth between the milk and the powdered sugar. But a little bit through this process is when I realized that I had done something wrong. And so what I ended up doing was going back and put it into my KitchenAid and mixing it up and just adding more powdered sugar to it to thicken it up so that it would be a frosting. And so it turned out really well. I feel like I saved it. It probably would have been better if I hadn't cooked it, but it was delicious. I do think this is one thing that I love most about my cooking journey right now is just learning to kind of go with the flow and learn and be willing to make adjustments. It makes me feel so much more confident. I feel like I was a person who just wanted to go by the steps and didn't feel confident to deviate, but now I feel like I can do it. I can deviate as much as I want. And so now knowing that, I can make adjustments, I can switch in and out extracts if I want and do different things and feel confident in that. So this is what it looks like after I have put it in the KitchenAid. I kind of added a little air to it, as well as, I added more powdered sugar to thicken it up. And like I said, it turned out beautifully. It would have probably been better if I hadn't cooked it before, but that's kind of the beauty of cooking and making your own things, is you get to make those adjustments and you can save things and kind of learn what works and what doesn't work. So we're going to end up putting both of those into chill. I end up putting these in the refrigerator because I end up icing everything in the morning. So that is the end of this long cooking day that I thought was going to only last for a little while. That went into the next morning, but got up bright and early before church and finished off some things that day. So I also forgot to show y'all the cookies and cream cookies. These, I will tell y'all more about them at the end, but these right here, they're already gone. I went into the kitchen today during the boys' nap time thinking I was going to have a little sweet treat to myself, and they were gone. So I finished those off in the end of this video and didn't realize them. But they were so good and so easy to make. I truly, I could make these again. If you buy the Oreos, buy everything, I would just make so many of these and just have them available in my refrigerator so that I could have them whenever I wanted. Between these and the white chocolate macadamia nut cookies, I don't know which ones are my favorite, honestly. I could not choose. Now, of course, your butter and your cream cheese has to be softened before you can do this recipe. But other than that, that's really the only preparation that you have to do. As we're kind of wrapping up this cooking day, I would love to ask you all what kind of content that you want to see from me. Of course, I'm here to make content for you. I am an avid YouTube watcher and user. I probably watch more YouTube than the average person, and so I love to watch content that I feel like relates to me, that solves my problems, and I would love to be able to be that person for you as well that solves those problems for you. So what are you into? What do you want to talk about? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to have more mommy content? We're planning some gardening content. We're planning some DIY content as we make this next transition. So what kind of content do y'all want to see? We want to provide it to you all. Also, do you guys miss seeing Jason in the videos? You should comment down below if you do. I'm sure he would love to see that if you guys miss seeing him in the videos. This started off as a couples channel. We actually started this channel, posted our first video of our travels on our honeymoon and the day after we got married. So it started off as like a couples channel, and then the life got to lifing, and then it ended up becoming a mommy homestead channel. And so but we still want to add the marriage concept to it because marriage is just so beautiful, and it's good to get that insight and get that perspective because it can be hard, and sometimes you want to see people who are like you, who share in those circumstances. Not everybody has the experience of being in a one income family. Not everybody has the experience of being married to a stay-at-home wife, and so I think that it's beautiful to be able to see other people kind of walking that out and living that out and being willing to be transparent about it. As I shared with you guys earlier in the video, I still, even 3 years in, have reservations about this decision that my husband and I made. There are still times where I think about going back to work, and still times that I think about if I'm doing enough or if I'm showing up enough for my family since I'm not providing any income. But I think that that's a natural feeling that comes with doing something that's not the norm and doing something that goes against the grain. I'm sure that when women stayed home and were were nurturers and were caretakers and homemakers, when the first woman decided to go out and work, and even women now who choose to work feel maybe some anxiety around it or feel some negative feelings around it. and they're choosing to bring income in. And so everybody has some anxiety around the choices that they make. It doesn't change the fact that they still feel, closely connected to that decision. And so I would love to have more content about that too. Obviously, we're a Christian channel, and so also our faith and relationship with God is very important to us as well. So we would love to have content about that too if you guys are interested. So I'm just wrapping up this cookie recipe. I broke up the Oreos into a Ziploc bag so it'll be easy. Cleanup would be easy. And now I'm dropping it in and finishing up our final round of mixing in our KitchenAid. And so here's our final dough. It looks so rich and it just looks so good. I could literally just put that in a bowl, sit on the couch with a tall glass of milk, and just eat that straight out the bowl. And here is our final pictures of everything and how everything looked and turned out. Hey you guys, editing La Brea here. I wanted to take the time to record this outro. I'm sitting here editing this video, and I just couldn't make myself get up and put on pants and try to go and be all cute in front of the camera. However, I am going to show y'all these cookies. You should have already seen a video or a picture of the goodies all together, but this is it's still warm, y'all. The chocolate chip cookie. And it's so good. I'm gonna pretend to eat them for the first time on camera. Want to see? Oh wow, I've never tasted them before, even though we've been eating on them all week. But they're really good. So that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you're interested in looking at more content, I would encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe. We post new videos here every Friday around mommy life, homestead, cooking, all that good stuff. So if you're interested in it, I would encourage you to do so. And if no one else has told you, we're so very proud of you. See you next time. Peace.